Apparently you've given me the buffer seat. Good morning, everyone. I'm not actually used, this is kind of, put me in the leg chair. This is kind of nice.
Don't fall asleep.
This is very comfortable. I'm glad you guys can join us this morning. My name is Jimmy Weiss. I have, on the website, Jim very kindly listed me as social media guru. Please don't call me that. I'll give you a quick rundown of my bona fides, and then I'm actually going to introduce you to the guests because, as far as I'm concerned, they're more important than I am. I've been involved in doing social media for coming up on 10 years now. I was part of the second wave, what I consider the second wave of bloggers. I started my blog in 2004. I have guest written on probably 10 different sites around the web, everything from hot air all the way down. I had my own podcast, a weekly podcast called The Delivery that went on for 4 years. It was a weekly show, and the proudest accomplishment there is that I can say that over the 4 years, I didn't miss a week. Never took a week off. It was 4 straight years of podcasting. And I have been on Twitter for 5 years and change now. I love social media. I believe that these days, well, first let me say, for those of you who are not as familiar with social media and you have this thought that social media is about marketing wizardry and search engine optimization and all the stuff people talk about science, that's not. Let me explain to you what I believe social media is. Social media is word of mouth, global. Social media is conversations with people, just conversations with people. And whatever media you choose to use, however many of them you choose to use, whichever medium you choose, however many you choose, that's what you're doing. You're having conversations with people, one at a time. Believe it or not, it's one at a time. And just like you would talk directly to a friend or someone you met and recommend something you liked to them, that's what you're doing on social media as well. I have 2 guests here. We're going to have a little discussion about not how you build an audience, because I think most of you, at this point in your life, you already have an audience of some size, and it's either it's going to get bigger, but you already have one. You have a Facebook presence. How many of you guys have a presence on at least one social media platform? This is most of the room. I don't need to tell you guys how to, you're who you are, you talk to your friends and your family and like-minded individuals, you're there. What we'd like to discuss is, all right, now I have a following, now I have an audience, now I have a group of people I talk to. Now what? Say there's a cause I'm interested in. What do I do? How do I engage them? How do I activate them to help? Because that's a lot of what we want to do. We want people to help us. So how do we do that? To do this, I have brought, I'll start with Jackie first, Jackie Wellfonder, who is, it's not, because when I think of Jackie as a seasoned social media veteran. I think of Jackie as someone who, she does things so well, I think she's been around for as long as I have. And she hasn't. She has only really been active on social media for 2 years. She has amassed a considerable following on Twitter. She has her own show on the Red Maryland Network called Rage Against the Rhetoric. She has her own website. She has been so good at what she does that she has actually started her own social media consulting firm. 2 years, guys. 2 years and she's blowing me away, and I've been at this for 10. That's how good she is. Next to her, Wayne Dupree, who built an incredible, I hate to use the marketing speak, but he built an incredible brand around the name News Ninja. If you've ever seen News Ninja in your Twitter feed, that's Wayne. And believe me, if you follow Wayne on Twitter, you'll see News Ninja in your Twitter feed. He has his own website. He has two different shows. 3 different shows. We were just talking about beforehand that chances are if you tuned into somewhere on the internet or the radio, you have a better than even chance of hearing Wayne Dupree. He is, for my money, the Wayne Dupree show that's on FTR radio on Sunday and Monday nights is the place you can hear him the best. He is absolutely fantastic. So take a moment, welcome my guests, and then we'll begin. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me start with Jackie since she's holding the microphone.
I claimed it.
All right, Jackie, you come online, you work with Dan Bongino, you build your own following, you've taken a lot of what you do and you've turned your activism, instead of turning your activism to building your own personal brand, you've turned it outward.
Yeah.
Accident? Or did you actually have a plan on how you wanted to do that or what you wanted to do? Or did you just, I don't think you came to it by accident, but I'm interested to hear how you turned that around from being all about you to being all about the things that matter to you.
Right. Well, I mean, first of all, for me, I've been a social butterfly kind of since birth. And so evolving into social media, you know, that was kind of natural. And I got to meet, it's great to, the reason I love conferences like this is because I look out and I see so many familiar faces, so I don't have to be nervous at all. But a lot of people in the audience, I was with they were on Team Bongino with me, that's what we called ourselves. And so I got to meet a lot of great people across the state of Maryland. I'm waving to one of them now. And I got told by a couple people I was one of Dan's biggest cheerleaders. And so, you know, you can take that for what you will, but hopefully people like that. But I just get a lot of satisfaction out of promoting people that I believe in. That's gratifying to me. So for me, it was never really about me, but it was just about doing a service and helping get a conservative, principled message out there.
Actually, you said something that, guys, I think is really important. I'm going to hand this to Wayne just for a second because Wayne does things a little differently. You subscribe a lot, like I do, to say that social media, what I'm doing on social media isn't really about me. I'm the worst self-promoter in the world. I'm horrible at it, but I'm really great at promoting other people. And I like that one of the things that you do is you step into the background to let the people that you want other people to know about shine. Wayne is a master self-promoter. Wayne, I'm telling you, Wayne can, and I don't say that to be bad because look, for most people, self-promotion, good self-promotion, doesn't come naturally. You know people that promote themselves all the time and they're really bad at it. They nag, they're horrible at it. Wayne is really good at it. Wayne is the kind of guy that can actually mention his radio show or something like that 10 times in an hour, and you almost don't mind at all that he's doing this all the time. On the other hand, I have seen Wayne, and he does this a lot, take that skill and turn it on other people. I have seen him blow up other people's Twitter feeds. When he'll say, hey, I found a person, you should follow that person, and all of a sudden that person is showing up on Twitter going, what is happening to my Twitter feed? Where did all you people come from? Who are you? Wayne, is there a difference between promoting yourself and promoting other people? How do you flip that switch to promoting other people?
Well, when you have people that want to get the constitutional conservative message out, and they don't mind in working for one particular cause, it's easy. What I have done over the last year is we started out with 4, went down to 2 at the beginning of last year as part of Team Ninja. Now it's up to 19 with the addition of 2 this morning. It's up to 19. Those individuals, now part of Team Ninja, I would go to bat for them no matter what, because I know that they have that constitutional message and they want to get they want to get the conservative message out there, personal responsibility, limited government, that's what we have to do. And they don't mind doing it, and they don't mind being part of the team. Now, we use Wayne Dupree's show as the vehicle because it's out there. It's out there. It's on FTR Radio. We just joined CPR, Constitutional Patriot Radio, that is now broadcasted in England, Australia, South Africa. There's also one more, and Canada, and the United States. And we're reaching those, and I'm bringing TV Ninja on so everybody can get their point across. But we're doing it because everybody understands Wayne Dupree's show is out there. Wayne Dupree's show, or Team Ninja, they don't mind. They're like, somebody's gonna see it, and then I'm promoting them. I'm like, you have to go and check these people out. You have to go and check out Jackie Wellfine. You have to go out and check out Jimmy Bass. You have to, and I don't mind continuing to push that out on Facebook and Twitter all day if I have to.
I heard, I like this guy, I can never remember the exact quote. I'll give you the gist of the quote. How many of you guys know who Dennis Prager is? Flat out one of the smartest human beings on the planet. And I heard him in a podcast say something very much to the effect of, I don't want to be an all-star. I want to be a member of an all-star team. One of the things that I've noticed from you guys, and I'd like to get your approaches on this, is a lot of times on social media, you feel lone wolf. You're out there, you've got to build yourself, right? You've got to build your own brand. You've got to build your own presence. One of the great things that people overlook is the advantage that you have to build the team around you that you want to build. No one on Facebook, or when you start a blog, or when you're on Twitter, or wherever you are, nobody is telling you what kind of team you can build around you. No one is telling you what kind of group you can build around you. No, I can't say nobody. There's nobody in charge that will come down and stop you. No one will stop you. That's the beauty. Nobody will stop you. You can build a team around Pokemon. You laugh, but I've seen it. If you want to see one of the most amazing things in the world on Twitter, watch the conservative Twitter sphere when Dancing with the Stars comes on live. You can actually build a team around Doctor Who, Dancing with the Stars, you name it. Nobody can tell you you can't. All you have to do is find the people around you, talk to them, and then they start engaging with you. You guys build teams. Start with Wayne and go back to Jackie. Wayne, how do you do that? What is your approach for building that team around you? How do you build Team Ninja to be the kind of thing that people want to come to and be a part of, and then use their own juice to put out there?
You know what? I'm so glad that question came up, because I was not always a conservative. Constitution. I know, yeah, right. But I got tired of watching. Well, actually, when I changed over in 2008 for where I am right now, you get tired of watching the Democrats get on TV, on the stage, with all different variations of people, and say that they are America. Get tired of it. Because we have America on our side too. So basically what I did, like Jimmy said, exactly like Jimmy said, nobody could tell me not to do it. So I went out and got a Latino conservative. I went out and got a white female, a grand old party, white male. I got a Latino male. I went out and got a black female. I mean, basically, I went out and got everybody. I mean, it's like Star Trek. Team Ninja is like Star Trek. And I talked about the 2 radio shows, but I also do a webcast. A webcast Tuesday through Friday on Spreecast, by the way. But when you look at us on the webcast, you see America. And that's what I wanted. I didn't wait for somebody else to do it. I did it. And just a couple weeks ago, and I give it to you, just a couple weeks ago, Duck Dynasty situation came up. And I was part of the boycott A&E for Duck Dynasty. And what we did, we got close to 1,700,000 likes on the Facebook page. But the day after, Phil Robertson was suspended. I had a webcast that night. I told everybody, let's boycott A&E, jump on the webcast, and join me. 80,000 people was on that webcast.
Wow.
And I mean, honestly, I was surprised because I was like, wait a minute. I mean, we usually average about like 700, 800, which is really good. But 80,000. 80,000. And that might be the applause, but when they saw constitutional conservatives of all different colors, that's what I wanted. That's what I want. That's what I think is going to win the day, and for us.
And I mean, along with what Wayne said, I think there's a huge misconception about what conservatives look like, obviously. And that's one of the things that we want to get out there. And as far as the team approach that Jimmy was talking about, and I'm sorry to go back to Team Bongino, but that's where I was born. But a lot of us, there was such a great, one of the things people noticed was, I mean, Dan built a grassroots army because he's amazing. I mean, you guys have seen his presence. But it's also the team. He gave so much credit to his team. And I had people that I see here today that don't live in my county that came to my county for events. I would go to their county for events. And then as people saw me becoming more active, they're like, I don't know how you do it. You're amazing. You do this and you do that. I turn their praise to me around to them and say, hey, this is what you're doing. And don't think that you can't use your voice and put your voice out there as well. So it's really about working together. I sit here and I'm looking at tweets that other people are tweeting out, talking about us being up here. But that's what it's about. It's about all of us working together to get the message out and supporting each other. It's easy.
Speaking of tweets, I see a lot of you guys taking notes. I see the bloggers diligently blogging away. I want to tell you guys, that if you have phones or mobile devices or stuff like that, not just this panel, but the whole conference, don't turn them off, all right? Take them out, tweet. If someone said something cool, tell everybody, tell people. We actually have a hashtag for this whole thing. It's, well, it's right there. It's TTT14. And, you know, tweet it, take a picture, and send a picture out. Tell your friends what you're doing. I will say this, and one of you guys, can, I know you guys can back this up. Hang on. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the audience question.
Jim will get you. No, it's okay. He's getting you on the board there.
How many people here are on today?
Yay.
Okay.
Nice.
It was very helpful, I think, if you had a quick mini lesson on why Twitter works and how to get on it.
All right. I can do that in 30 seconds. And I'll say this, and thank you for that. It actually gives me a chance to say this. One of the reasons when I talk to people is when I get a chance to get up in front of an audience and say, all right, here's what Twitter is and here's how to get on it. One of the reasons I personally generally don't do it, it is probably really bad practice, is if you're not on Twitter, chances are you've heard about it or you know what it is. And if you want a tutorial, at this point, they're so easy to find. They're really easy to find. I'll give this to you really quickly. Twitter is a social media network that essentially allows you to type out a little message and send it to people who are listening to you. It's like a party line, and you get to decide who you want to listen to and who you don't want to listen to. You go to twitter.com, you set up an account, and you're in it. I would recommend that people, especially when you start, and this is generally true of every social media network, if you're interested in, I want to start a blog, How many of you guys have your own blogs?
Yay.
How many of you who don't have your own blogs have thought in the last few months, I'd kind of like to start my own blog? All right? Here's what I would recommend to you, okay? Find the blogs you really like, right? The ones you really, really like. The ones you visit every single day because you love them that much. And then ask yourself, what do they do that I really love? Right? Because the mechanics of how you do it, you can find that in 5 minutes. What you can't find, and this I think is, and if you want, I can give you a little more detail after the panel as well. The thing that's harder to find is not how to mechanically do it, because it's easy to start a blog and to crank up post after post after post after post about the headline of the day, right? Here's the latest outrage, I saw this in the news. How many of you guys have seen blogs like that? It's every single post, here's a bad thing that's happening, and here's a bad thing that's happening, and ooh, Obamacare, and ooh, tax increases, and at some point you imagine the blogger just sitting back there like Yosemite Sam, just ooh. And that's what they're doing like every post. I used to read those all the time. And I don't anymore, because, yeah, I can read the news too. You know what I mean? I read the news, and that's my reaction. I got it, all right? I got it. What I don't have is the point of view that I don't have, right? Oh, Obamacare is terrible, but what do I do? Democrats run the state of Maryland. How can I help change that? Find the bloggers and the people that do the things you want to do, that you like, and then find those little bits of style and then rip them off relentlessly. Okay? I mean, don't plagiarize their posts, but if you like how Wayne does something, if you like the way he approaches it, do it like him. If you really like it, imitate it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I played in a jazz band for 11 years. You know one of the things that jazz musicians are absolutely great at? They're absolutely great at ripping off other jazz musicians. Virtually every jazz solo I ever heard was a variant of some other jazz solo I heard. Every one of them. It's okay to take someone's style and to say, I'm going to try it like that. And then what happens is the style that you like and your own style come together and you have your voice. You don't need people to tell you what your authentic voice is. It'll come out. Have fun. Next point. Have fun.
Mm-hmm. Very important.
Tell me about fun and building your team.
Fun. I like fun. I mean, you have to be willing to relax. You have to be willing to laugh at yourself. And believe me, there was a time in my life when I wasn't always that way. But for gosh sakes, I was running towards my friend Sarah when I saw her this morning. And you know, it's yucky outside and there was water on the floor and I'm in my Uggs, which bad habit, but I wear them every day. And shoom, right on my knees, fell on the floor and I'm like laughing. And I mean, there would have been a time when I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, and I might have even left. And now I'm thinking, man, I need to tweet about that. I need to tell everybody that I just took a crash in the middle of the lobby. You know, but it's just, you have to have fun with it. You have to relax. And I mean, I think another key element of social media is keeping it dynamic, like whether you're using it politically or whether you're using it for your business. I was talking about that on the Red Maryland broadcast because they're out there right now. So make sure you listen to the podcast later. They're broadcasting till 11. Go Red Maryland. But anyway, I was telling them, you know, they were talking about how to mix things up on social media. And so whether it's politically or for your business, like Dan, but he does this, throw up, and a lot of politicians do this, but throw up a picture of your kids, or, you know, I went to a really great basketball game, or whatever the case may be, but just remind people that, you know, you are this human being. It's not strictly about your business or your politics. You're just a human being out there in the world trying to make a difference and get the word out about what you're doing.
Well, I'll say this. I am Democrat this, Democrat that, Democrat that. But when Dallas Cowboys lose, then I'm like, why? No, especially with my team. My team is like my family. Even though they're in other states, we talk a lot, we joke a lot. They know about me, I know about them, and one thing is, yes, we're working, yes, we're trying to put a message out there, but we're also trying to have fun, just like Jimmy said. It can't be work. If it's work, you're not gonna have fun in it. Because how many of you have fun at your jobs every day?
Good.
They work in corporate meetings.
How many of you guys would be willing to take on a second job that was 20 or 30 hours a week, that you didn't get paid for, that you wouldn't have fun at every day?
Look at all that, man. I wish you could turn the camera around.
Her hand was up like this, and I went, no.
See, that's where we are. If you're not having fun, you've basically taken on a second job that you hate
Exactly.
and that you won't get paid for.
Exactly. And believe me, you won't get paid for it. You won't get paid for it. But you know what? I drive almost an hour and a half to work every day. I work 8 hours a day, and then I drive 2 hours home. And I also have 4 or 5 or 6 hours, well, actually, if you are on my Twitter and Facebook, you know, you probably think I don't have a real job. News is out there all the time. News is out there. But I'm at the conferences. I'm at rallies. I'm at my twin daughters, who are 10 years old, just turned 35. I'm at their recitals. I'm at their plays. I'm at my son's football games or karate games. And people are like, how do you do this? And you have two shows and a webcast. I'm like, well, I got to get all this stuff done before I leave this earth. So I'm just trying to get it all in.
Well, the other thing, Wayne, don't hand that mic off yet. The other thing is, you enjoy it.
I do.
You like it. That's the reason you do it, is not just because you have... The difference between someone who has a cause and is having fun and someone who has a cause and isn't having fun is the difference between Wayne Dupree and that wild-eyed crazy person you cross the street to avoid, because when you run into them, they're going to harangue you for a half an hour.
That's right. That's right.
Don't be that other person. His name gets brought up at conservative conferences all the time, but this is incredibly appropriate. But Andrew Breitbart was known as a happy warrior. Mark Stein is the same way, a happy warrior. Here's the thing. No one wants to be lectured about anything.
That's true.
No one wants to be lectured. Everyone wants to enjoy themselves, especially when it comes to politics. Politics, I don't know if just the word of a political conference can say this. Politics may be, just taken by itself, flat out the most boring thing in the world. It's mostly this group of fairly well-off people yelling at this group of fairly well-off people about a bunch of rules somewhere in the middle that another group of well-off people invented a few years ago that only another group of well-off people actually understand. Generally, that's what it comes down to. And politics by itself is just boring. I listened to my C-SPAN, and I thought that there was a discussion a couple weeks ago on trade policy, and I'm like, trade, that sounds interesting. I can educate myself. I'm not doing anything right now. And I flipped over there, and like 10 minutes later, I was just like, it could have been an interesting subject. I have no idea, because my brain actually left my head and was looking for reruns of Phineas and Ferb. I was dying for entertainment. It's the thing, have fun. You'll build a team faster, Wayne, if you have fun, yes?
Yes, and you know, the name that you just said just a while ago is why I'm also here. I was not having fun arguing with a liberal on Twitter. I don't know why. I mean, I'm arguing with somebody who I don't even know. I don't even know where they live, and I'm trying to tell them what I know, and I'm not having any fun. But Andrew Breitbart jumped on my Twitter line, and he liked what he saw. And I knew who he was, I just didn't know he was watching me. He said, I like your fight, and if you need me, you let me know where you are, and I'll be there. And that and my fun started right there, because I was like, if he can do that for me, then I can do that for somebody else. And getting that information out, that's fun for me. I mean, it hurts that so many people don't know about it, but it's fun telling it, because when you know that you got them, when their eyes are like, when they're glazed, you know you got them there. You know, especially when you have the facts are on your side, everything's on your side. Now it's like playing basketball, man. It's like behind the back passes, between the leg, 3-point shot. I mean, now I'm starting to work every bit of information that I have found, and I might not bring everybody. I might not get everybody, but one or two will come up and ask me, when you said this about Alice Sharpton and Messi Jackson, what? And, so that's fun. That's fun. And plus I get to name Democratic politicians all the time. Pelosi galore.
Fun, you guys.
Harry Reid. Silas Clyburn. I'm just...
It's just to add to some of what they already said, it's all about perspective. I mean, you were talking about your day job or your normal job, and sometimes it's difficult for me to get up at 7 to be there at 8. Well, today I got up at 4:30 and I was amped because I knew I was going to be here with all of you. And so, yeah, doing what you love, it makes it easy. I mean, you put in, I went to my first CPAC last year, which was phenomenal. Yes. And anybody who follows me, which I hope you do on social media, I'm well fonder on Twitter. But if I like my sleep, I value my rest. Well, at CPAC, I literally, over the course of those 3 days, slept 3 hours a night. But I survived, I did it, I was amped, the whole time. And so doing what you love is important. And when you know you're going out there and making a difference, I mean, it's just incredibly gratifying.
All right, we've got a few minutes. If you guys have any questions, we have a microphone in the middle. Come on, line up behind the microphone. We've got, let's say, about 10 minutes. Get a couple questions in. I ask two things only of questions. First at the end of the question mark. And number two, that we're short so we can get the answer and some more questions in. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm just going to keep asking questions.
Okay.
Clearly, you guys have a following and you're making an impact, but what is the coordinated goal, it just in Maryland's case, because it's so blue, how do you see that we can make this change? Because clearly the GOP is not doing it. So how are we going to have a propaganda campaign that's going to change people?
We have to stay active, and I mean, talking about, social media discussions and arguments, I got in a little tiff with a friend of mine who, we're like siblings, we argue a lot, but he wanted to try to tell me that this conference doesn't make a difference. Now let me tell you something, I know very well that you go to these conferences and you see familiar faces. But the bottom line is, what we need to do is we need to network. We need to talk to our neighbors. The people that are interested in starting blogs, they need to do it. But I mean, yes, this may be the root, this may be the core, but we need to go out there and, bring more people in. And a lot of people feel like they're alone. Well, they're obviously not. We need to remind people that this core, this conservative base, really exists. And we are different colors, despite what the mainstream media would like you to believe. We need to put the reality out there.
I look at this as, I can't change the Maryland Republican Party. I can't change the Maryland Democratic Party. I, by myself, cannot swing an election. What I can do is I can be the middle of a cloud. Okay? A cloud of people that I talk to. A lot of you guys I don't know. By the end of the day, I will have met many of you, and you will be my new friends. That, I think, is how it's done. Building your network of friends. And your network gets bigger and connects to another network that gets bigger and connects to another network that gets bigger. This is all straight up, face-to-face retail politics, even on social media. How does it change? Maybe not as fast as we want it to, but we're doing it from the ground up. It's gonna last longer. The way we change is, we change it house by house, neighborhood by neighborhood, little meeting by little meeting, Twitter feed by Twitter feed. That's how it changes. Yes?
If I could add one more quick thing, I'm thinking of my friend Carol Fraser back there, but I mean, if you don't want to start a blog, that's okay. There's a lot of things you can do, even just writing a letter to the editor about a particular situation that's going on in your community. So don't think you need to start huge, but just make the effort to do those small things to raise an awareness where you are.
And if, like Jackie said, if you don't want to write a blog, but you have something that you want published, talk to somebody in charge of the blog. Say, can you post this for me? You know, I mean, I don't want my name on it, but can you post this for me? You know, and believe me, I've done that a few times. I've seen those personal experiences blow up quick because I think one of the things that I realized joining in 2008, or switching over for the better in 2008, was that when I talked, a lot of people resonated with what I was saying that they couldn't say. Okay? I tell people, you know, I stopped being a kitchen colonel or a sofa general instead of sitting in front of the sofa. I hate that. That has to change. I got up and did something. You know, if you don't feel like doing a blog, give your message to somebody and let them put it out there for you. And then you'll see, wow, I didn't know 1,000 people felt the same way I did. You know? So, I mean, it's there. It's there for you.
Yes, sir.
Just kind of a quick question. So I'm at an event right now, like most of you are. How many of you have a smartphone? I see there's a lot of them. What would you suggest tweeting right now? And then I have another question after that.
All right, how awesome the panelists are. Okay, clearly.
No, that's good. And then
What I would say is,
I want to give a practical demonstration.
sure, if one of us is, practically, I'm on Twitter, and this really cool guy named Tyler McNally. Tyler, where are you? Is there a Tyler? Hi, Tyler McNally. Really cool guy named Tyler McNally. I'm looking in my Twitter feed, and he's actually quoted me twice. Accurately, he's quoted me twice. If someone has said something,
How do you know that? Again, this is 101 social media. I understand.
Oh.
Yeah,
You understand.
right,
I think a lot of people don't understand.
right.
How do you know he just did that?
Well, what'll happen is, I can pull up in my Twitter feed. Tyler was actually very kind to actually include my Twitter name, so that I can see that someone is talking about me.
Yep.
The other way he's done it is he's included that hashtag, that I can actually go in and follow that particular hashtag and see everything everybody's saying about that particular hashtag. And for those of you, by the way, who want a little more kind of hands-on stuff about Twitter and stuff like that, I will be here all day.
That's perfect.
Come to find me or any of us, we will be here. I have to moderate a panel at 3:15. I'd like to thank our organizer, Jim Jamitis, for giving me the first and second to last panel of the day. I will be here all day long. If you have a question, ask me.
Next question on top of that. I use a platform. I like the Messy Jackson thing. I twittered that, but I don't know what your handle is, so I put it in the hashtag. But I wanted to ask, there's a variety of different platforms. A lot of people have fan pages in here. How many people have a Facebook fan page? Okay, so we've got a couple. So for your organization, it's not your personal page, it's like a... So I don't like twittering there, then twittering here, then twittering, then putting on Facebook. What is a good platform to utilize where you can wipe them all out? I've heard of Hootsuite, that's what I use. TweetDeck.
Hootsuite is great. One thing, because I have ADHD like Andrew Breitbart, and that's one of the things that makes me so effective, but Jim Jamitis, you're talking about how you can follow all of this. He created a list. One of the things I wanted to make sure I got out there today was with Twitter, you want to keep, and again, we can talk after, but you want to keep your follower-followee ratio kind of close. And one of the ways you can do that is to create lists, and create a list and follow a hashtag. But Jim created a list of a lot of the people that were going to be here today. So that's a way you can subscribe to that list and follow those people. But yeah, there's programs like Hootsuite that are great because you can put something out on Facebook and Twitter at the same time. Some people don't like to do that. I mean, for me, as far as Twitter goes, I live by TweetDeck because I have several of those lists. Like one of them's Maryland News, one of them's National News, one of them's bloggers. So there's all kinds of ways you can organize yourself, and part of it's just finding what works for you.
And you know what? Even if you don't keep it to politics, my son had a question about homework. Had a specific, you know, well, you can put in crowdsourcing, hashtag crowdsourcing, hit enter, and you've seen everybody that's talking about crowdsourcing and links to various articles or something dealing with crowdsourcing. I have a Samsung phone, Note 3. I can put hashtag Note 3 in there, and I'm looking at all the people talking about Note 3, their experiences and whatnot. So that's why I like Twitter, because Twitter to me is now. But also I have a Facebook fan page, like he was talking about, that I have both of them going back and forth. So if I'm tweeting something, because some of the people on Facebook just don't like Twitter. They just don't like it. But if I tweet out something, it goes on Twitter, and then, oh, okay, yeah, I like what you just said. So they're not missing anything.
So you'd say is TweetDeck better than a Hootsuite? I'm just looking for your recommendation.
Yeah, it depends.
But they're similar then.
I use Janetter, J-A-N-E-T-T.
Now you're really confusing me.
Yeah, here's the thing, guys. When it comes to what do I use to get on Twitter, there are an easy dozen free programs and probably several dozen more that you can use. That's always going to be up to your personal taste. It's always going to be. We're actually we're out of time. Like I said, I'll be here all day. I know they'll be here all day. Come find us. You have questions, I will do everything I can to help you out. Stick around for the next panel. I love this, how to beg for money and attention. And a guy I know, David Spielman, is going to be on that panel, and he's a really good guy, and you're going to want to hear what he says. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Enjoy the conference.